The Reveal, the Galactic Council Hall, was older than most stars. Its walls were carved from black crystal, glowing with soft alien light. Every sound echoed like a warning. Delegates from hundreds of worlds filled the chamber. Tall beings with metal skin, floating minds wrapped in light, creatures with eyes that never blinked. They were conquerors, rulers, survivors of endless wars. Today, they had gathered for one reason. A human was coming. Humans were new to the galaxy, young, short-lived, and fragile, or so the council believed. They had spread fast, but speed was not strength. That was what the older races told themselves. The great doors opened slowly. A thin line of white light cut across the dark hall. The noise faded. Conversations stopped. Every eye turned forward. The human diplomat stepped inside. His name was Elias Kane. He wore a simple dark suit. No armor, no weapons. He was small compared to the others, almost fragile. He walked alone. No guards followed him. No drones hovered above. Just one human walking into a room full of predators. Some delegates laughed quietly. Others whispered with interest. A few watched with sharp focus, feeling something they did not understand. Elias walked calmly. His steps were steady, not fast, not slow. His face showed no fear, no anger, only patience. The council speaker leaned forward. "So this is the human," one alien muttered. "So weak," another replied. They expected shaking hands, nervous eyes, begging words. They did not get any of that. As Elias reached the center of the hall, the light shifted. Shadows stretched across the floor. No one noticed how one shadow stayed closer to him than the others. No one questioned why the air felt heavier, colder. Elias stopped. He placed his hands behind his back. He waited. The alien generals studied him. Scanning devices showed nothing special. No hidden weapons, no energy shields, no implants. Just a human. A tall armored commander rose from his seat. His voice was loud and sharp. "You stand before powers that can erase your world," he said. "Do you understand how small you are?" Elias met his gaze. "Yes," he said calmly. The simplicity of the answer unsettled the room. The commander smiled cruelly. "Then you know why you should kneel." Laughter spread through the hall. Elias did not move. He did not kneel. He did not raise his voice. Behind him, the shadow shifted slightly, like something waking up. The council speaker raised a hand for silence. "The human will speak when permitted," the speaker announced. Elias nodded, respectful, patient. But inside the hall, something was changing. Several delegates felt uneasy. Ancient warriors felt a warning deep in their minds, as if a door had opened somewhere it should not have. Elias stood still, calm among monsters, unarmed among executioners. None of them realized the truth. The human had not come alone. He had never been alone. As the lights dimmed, and the council prepared to judge Earth, death stood quietly at the human's side, waiting. The INSULT, the council chamber, grew louder after the human arrived. Whispers turned into open voices. Mockery replaced curiosity. Alien leaders spoke without care. They discussed Earth like it was already conquered. A resource, a prize, a warning to others. Elias Kane stood silent at the center. He listened. He remembered every word. One delegate with silver skin floated forward. "Humans burn fast," it said. "Your kind rises quickly, then disappears." Others nodded in agreement. A massive warlord leaned back in his throne. His armor was scarred by ancient battles. "Tell me, human," he said, "which world will you run to when we arrive?" Soft laughter spread through the hall. Some found it amusing. Others found it boring. Elias finally spoke. His voice was calm, steady, and clear. "Humanity does not run." The words were simple, but heavy. For a moment, silence returned. Then laughter exploded again, louder this time. The warlord slammed his fist on the armrest. "You dare speak with pride here," he roared. The council speaker raised a hand. "This meeting is not for speeches," it said. "The human is here to receive terms." Terms. The word echoed in Ilias's mind. An alien general stood up. His eyes glowed red with cruelty. "Earth will submit," he said. "You will give us your skies, your oceans, your future." Elias looked around the room. So many powerful beings, so much confidence, so much ignorance. "No," Elias said. Just one word. No anger, no fear. The room froze. The general stepped forward. "You forget your place," he hissed. An armored guard moved closer to Elias. Weapons powered up with a low hum. Energy filled the air. Danger became visible. Elias did not move. His hands stayed behind his back. His breathing remained slow. The guard shoved him hard. Elias stumbled one step, then regained balance. Gasps filled the chamber. "That is enough," someone shouted. But it was already too late. The temperature dropped slightly. Not enough to trigger alarms, just enough to be felt. Lights flickered once, then stabilized. No one noticed the shadow behind Elias grow darker, deeper, like ink spreading in water. The general smiled. "This is what humans understand," he said. "Force." Elias raised his head. He looked directly at the general. "You were warned," he said softly. The words confused them. "Warned," the general repeated with laughter. "By who?" Behind Elias, something shifted again. Unseen, unheard, but very awake. Ancient warriors felt it now. A pressure on their minds, a memory of extinction, a fear they had not felt in centuries. The council speaker hesitated. For the first time, doubt crept into its voice. "This session is paused," it announced. But the general ignored the command. He raised his hand. "Prepare to strike," he ordered. Weapons locked on the human diplomat. Targeting systems beeped softly. Red lights filled the chamber. Elias closed his eyes for a brief moment, not in fear, but in acceptance. "They think this is courage," the narration whispered. "They do not know it is permission." The shadow behind Elias stretched across the floor, touching the feet of the soldiers, and death took its first step forward. The HFY Sci-Fi order was given, and the galaxy held its breath. Red targeting lights locked onto Elias Kane. Alien weapons hummed with deadly power. Energy blades charged, rifles glowed, cannons aligned. To the council, this was justice. To the generals, this was control. To the soldiers, this was routine. The first shot should have ended everything. It never landed. The lights flickered hard this time. Not once, not twice, but again and again. Alarms tried to activate, then went silent. Time felt strange, slow, thick, heavy, like the universe itself was hesitating. The soldier who fired first suddenly froze. His weapon fell from his hands. His body collapsed without a sound. Confusion spread instantly. "Who attacked?" someone shouted. Scanners flared across the room. They found nothing. Another soldier screamed, not in pain, in terror. He pointed at the air beside him, at nothing the others could see. Then he fell, lifeless. Panic replaced confidence. Rows of elite guards opened fire. Beams of energy crossed the hall, but they hit nothing. Still, soldiers kept falling, one by one, then two at a time. There was no explosion, no visible enemy, no sound of battle, only shadows moving where they should not move, stretching, twisting, reaching. The ancient warriors in the council felt it clearly now. This was not an ambush. This was a harvest. Elias Kane stood perfectly still. Energy beams passed inches from his body, never touching him. Not a single weapon aimed at him could fire twice. Their wielders were already gone. An alien commander backed away in fear. "This is impossible," he whispered. "Humans cannot do this." Elias slowly opened his eyes. He looked around the chamber, at the fallen soldiers, at the silent weapons. "We did not," he said calmly. That answer broke something in them. A massive beast-like general charged forward, swinging a blade taller than the human. Roaring in rage and fear, the shadow moved. The blade stopped in mid-air. As if held by invisible hands, the general struggled, screamed, begged. Then he vanished. No body, no blood, just empty space. The council chamber erupted into chaos. Delegates tried to flee. Others dropped to their knees. Some could only stare in horror. Screens finally came back online, showing readings that made no sense. Life signs ending without cause. Energy spikes from nowhere. "This is not war," the council speaker cried. "This is extermination." Elias turned slightly toward the speaker. His voice never changed. "No," he said. "This is defense." The remaining soldiers retreated, weapons falling from shaking hands, training forgotten. Pride destroyed. They finally understood the truth. The human was not protected by technology, not by fleets, not by allies. He was protected by something older than empires. The shadows across the hall grew still. As if waiting for instruction, Elias took one slow step forward. Every surviving alien flinched. "You attacked a diplomat," Elias said. "You thought he was alone." Behind him, the darkness deepened, forming a shape that hurt the mind to sense. Not fully seen, but fully felt. "You did not realize," Elias continued. "Death was standing right next to you." Silence swallowed the council hall, not because of fear alone, but because the galaxy finally understood. Humans did not bring death to war. Death followed humans everywhere. The HFY, the council hall, no longer felt like a place of power. It felt like a grave. Surviving delegates stood frozen. Thrones meant for kings now felt like cages. Ancient conquerors lowered their eyes. Elias Kane remained at the center, unmoving, untouched. The shadows around him slowly settled. No longer violent, no longer hunting, simply present. The council speaker finally found its voice. "What are you?" it asked. The question was not aimed at Elias alone. Elias turned slightly, as if listening to someone beside him. Then he answered, "We are human," he said, "and we learned long ago how to live with death." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Fearful, confused, some tried to deny what they had seen. "That thing," one delegate whispered, "it obeys you." Elias shook his head slowly. "No," he replied, "we do not command it." He paused, choosing his words carefully. "We met death when we were weak, when our world burned, when we fought each other, when we lost millions." Again and again, the hall remained silent. Even the machines seemed to listen. "Other species ran from death," Elias continued, "or tried to defeat it. We could not. So we learned its rules. We learned its price." The temperature dropped again, not from anger, but from memory. Elias looked toward the fallen soldiers. "They chose violence," he said, and death answered. The darkness beside him shifted. For the first time, it took a clearer shape. Not a monster, not a god. A tall, human-like figure stood in the shadow, faceless, silent, calm. Its presence pressed on every mind in the room. Several delegates collapsed to the floor, unable to bear its gaze. "This is impossible," the council speaker said. "You cannot bond with death." Elias met its eyes. "We did not bond," he said. "We accepted." The figure did not move. It did not threaten. It simply waited. Elias continued, "When humans walk into danger, death walks with us, not as a weapon, but as a witness." The speaker's voice trembled. "What do you want?" Elias answered, without hesitation. "Peace." The word felt heavy in the hall. After everything that had happened, peace felt terrifying. "If we wanted destruction," Elias said, "this room would already be empty." The shadow figure faded slightly. As if agreeing, Elias took a slow breath. "We came to talk," he said. "You chose to attack." The council finally understood. Human strength was not in weapons, not in fleets, but in acceptance of the end. Death did not serve humanity. It walked beside them, and that made all the difference. The HFY, the council hall, remained silent. Not a single voice dared to rise. Power had changed shape in that room. The shadow beside Elias Kane slowly pulled back. Not gone, just waiting, like it always did. Surviving delegates straightened carefully. Movements slow, respectful, afraid to draw attention. No one felt like a ruler anymore. The council speaker lowered itself, a gesture no human database had recorded before. "What are your terms?" it asked quietly. Elias stepped forward, one calm step. The sound echoed across the chamber. "There will be no invasion," he said. "No threats, no games played with our extinction." Several leaders nodded quickly. "Too quickly. Human space will be recognized," Elias continued. "Human diplomats will be protected, and no weapon will be raised against us again." A general tried to speak, then stopped, fear closing his mouth. "And if these terms are broken," Elias added, his voice never rising, never shaking. The shadow behind him grew just a little darker. "We will not send fleets," Elias said. "We will not declare war. We will simply arrive." That was enough. The message landed deeper than any threat. The council speaker agreed. "The council accepts," it said. "The galaxy accepts." Lights slowly returned to full strength. Systems came back online. Bodies were gone. Not moved, not cleaned, simply removed. Elias turned toward the exit, his mission complete. As he walked away, alien leaders watched in silence, burning the image into memory. A human diplomat, unarmed, unafraid, never alone. At the great doors, Elias paused. He looked back one final time. "Remember this," he said. "When humans come in peace, it is a gift. When death walks beside us, it is mercy." The doors closed behind him, leaving the council hall forever changed. Across the galaxy, stories spread. Warnings whispered. Do not threaten Earth. Do not touch human envoys. Do not mistake kindness for weakness, because humanity does not stand alone. Where humans walk, death walks with them. The aftermath news of the council spread faster than any ship. Across trade lanes, war zones, and ancient capitals, Stories changed as they traveled. Some said a shadow killed an army. Others said the humans spoke, and worlds fell silent. The truth mattered less than the result. Human diplomats were no longer laughed at. Their ships were given safe passage. Borders opened before they even asked. Old empires paused their wars. Young species chose caution over pride. Even the bravest generals checked the dark corners of their halls. On Earth, Elias Kane returned without ceremony. No parades, no medals, just quiet reports and sealed records. Leaders asked him what he saw. He answered simply, "Fear? What protected you?" one asked. Elias paused before replying, "The same thing that protects us all." He said, "Far from Earth, in places without names, something ancient listened, not pleased, not angry, just patient, because it had always walked with humanity, through fire, famine, and war, through birth and endings." The galaxy learned a final lesson. Humans do not seek death. They accept it, and in that acceptance, they became untouchable. So when a human arrives quietly, when they stand calm among monsters, when they look unafraid into the unknown, remember the council hall, remember the shadows, because death is never summoned. It is already there, standing right beside them.